Hello again, everybody. Scott Casper, Takedown. We continue our coverage of the sport of wrestling. This time we head to Colorado Springs, the U.S. Olympic Training Center there. Women's wrestling, the topic du jour. Erin Clodgo, our guest, 63. She's looking for the number one spot. She'll have to go through Elena Periscova to get it. She joins us now after just taking a sip of tea. Erin, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Scott. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good, kid. I sit back, I watch, I announce, I watch. This is a very competitive weight class that you're in, 63 kilos. You're in there with what I think are some of the best in the business. Paige, Periscova, etc. All around you are other women looking to master that spot and represent the team, whether it be at the Worlds or the Olympics. It gets real competitive, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Is
It
it
does, but that's the only way we get better.
Well, the reason I bring it up like that is because friends are friends. Is it possible to have friends at your weight class?
Uh, it's very hard to. You can, but it's very hard because then it comes. A lot of time it comes down to are you more competitive or are you more friends? So
Hmm.
it's what are you here for? Are you here to make friends? Or are you here to compete?
And it's an
And that's always a
awful,
tough.
it's
That's always
awful
a tough
long
line
road,
to
isn't
be.
it? I mean, it's an awful long road to not have friends.
Yeah.
Because it's a lonely. But a lot of folks don't realize how lonely wrestling can be. I think you are probably, if you're close to anybody on the team, would be Alyssa Lampy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Lampster. Um, and the idea, of course, is that it's probably realistic that you would not be facing her anytime soon. So there's probably a safe friendship to invest in. Being away from home, and as far away from home as you are, Richmond, Vermont, to Colorado is not necessarily great when it comes to bringing family around. So you have to rely on other people. There has to be some people in your life that are special, and I like that. So I always wonder about that, and everybody has a little bit different answer. Coaches, do the coaches hang out at all?
Sometimes they'll like have cookouts or something at their house, or like have a team event so we can all like be together and socialize a little bit,
I,
but
I thought you guys
not too
lived
often.
together and everything. You don't. It's really not like that, is it?
I'm sorry.
Do you all live in the same dorms or are the houses, apartments, or how are you guys spread out?
Well, there's if you live on complex, there's a few different buildings you can live in, and sometimes you can live by yourself in just a room with a shared bathroom. Other people will live with a roommate, and they will have two bedrooms, two bathrooms, and a shared living room. And then there's a bunch of other athletes who live off complex in their own apartments or live on the military base or whatnot. So I mean, we're all kind of a little bit spread out here and there.
Hmm. Well, coming up are the World Team Trials. Let's talk about how you got there. The U.S. Open, of course, afforded many of you athletes an on ramp, if you will. Talk to us about your performance at the Open in Las Vegas. It was a well produced event, but talk to us about the event itself and your performance.
Well, the event was held differently this year because it was a 2 day tournament, which they've never done before. But I realized they're trying to do that to help us prepare more for Worlds. But so the 2 days kind of threw me off a little bit, like having to figure out what I was going to do all the next day after qualifying for the finals, and then keeping myself busy, but at the same time not doing too much or getting distracted. Being in Vegas,
Right?
so that I was ready to go by at night, but that was a long time to wait and try and stay ready for it.
Is Vegas a distraction, or I mean, the location itself? It is called Sin City. It is the city that never sleeps unless it's really, really tired. But is it a distraction in and of itself? A challenge for high level athletes?
Well, I've been there like quite a few years, so I know what's around, what to expect, but it's very easy to get distracted. It's just tempting you every direction you turn. Can't even go down in the lobby without having distractions there, and that's always hard. It will be interesting to see how Worlds are going to go next year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's going to be very interesting. Maybe that's another
I think the
thing they're
foreigners are
preparing.
really going to like Vegas.
Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. Let's go
Yeah.
back.
Sorry. Yes.
Your performance in 2013, it seems like you were just about there. Second in the World Team Wrestle Off, second in the U.S. World Team Trials, second in the U.S. Open. Everything was second, second, second. And I
Yeah.
know how tough you are. I know how hard you prepare and how hard you battle each and every time. What's different this year from last year?
I could say a big difference this year is I have I have pretty much my own coach now working with me, Coach Ike Anderson,
Oh,
and he's been giving me a lot of one-on-one attention and a lot of like we've been working. Most of the time, like if I do extra, I always try to put extra hours and extra time to always be better. But I'd always would have to do it by myself, so I'd always have to figure out a way to do that by myself, whether it be extra lifting, extra cardio, agility, or throwing the dummy all on my own. But now that I'm working with him so much, it's all that extra time is going into extra wrestling, which is the best. You can't get any better than doing extra wrestling.
so what you're talking about is live wrestling. We're not just talking about practice and situations and things like this. We're talking
Everything.
about live wrestling.
Live wrestling, drilling more, throws, executions, all of it. Just all of it, just focused on like the wrestling itself instead of having to do it myself on my own was something else that would help me, that would benefit me for wrestling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. And I believe that as good as you are, the only way you can stay that good or even get better is that constant repetition. So it's not so much something you have to think about. Or am I wrong on that?
Yes, yeah, you are correct.
Okay, so body reacts or body acts, not reacts. I think that's what we're looking for. A body in motion toward a common goal, and that'd be to finish whatever or defend in such a way where you're not scored upon. You prefer an opportunity where you should be on the defense, but their movement allows you to turn into an offensive move, scoring a point. Do you prefer that, or do you prefer to be on the hunt all the time?
I prefer to always set the pace and set the motion, find
So,
my opening.
so your pace, is that more difficult with some talented wrestlers from around the world than it is others? In other words, do let's say you're wrestling the Russians or you're wrestling the Japanese. Let's take the Japanese. I think it's probably a better example. Do they come in and desperately try to impose their will or their style on you initially?
Yes.
I mean, that's almost, and I'd say, from my estimation, it's their modus operandi. How do you get them out of that?
Well, I'd say the Japanese wrestlers are have a lot of movement. They're very quick and explosive. So I mean, they don't like to play around with ties or anything. They like to keep you constantly moving and find where you step wrong or step heavy and attack off that. And I mean, my way of wrestling is to control the tie and control the positioning by contact, not distance.
So you like to keep it close.
Yes.
All right. And their style is one that will hopefully wear out their opponent. It's that
Yes.
constant nipping and just constantly is like a small little dog is nipping all the way around the heels. You know what I mean? And I'm not calling the Japanese women little dogs. I want to make clear on this. I'm just offering up an example. So very quick, very fast, and they're trying desperately to wear you out as well. Create
Yes.
their own opportunities, and you would like to at least, from my estimation, slow it down, tie them up, and use your power and strength. You're very strong for 5'6", very strong.
Yeah, that is like one of my strengths is my strength, I guess you could say.
All right. So talk to us a bit about preparation for the World Team Trials that come up here this weekend in Madison, Wisconsin. It's got to be knowing how much time you have between the U.S. Open and the World Team Trials. It's almost a set camp, isn't it? You have to go into this ready to go.
Yes. Yeah, everything needs need to be fully prepared. Everything needs to be in check, ready to go. You can't have any mishaps. Your sleep schedule's got to be correct. Your recovery schedule has to be in check. Your diet has to be in check. Your weight has to be in check, and all the training and work and wrestling has to be in check. You just have to be. Everything has to line up. You can't all of a sudden just have a bad day or a fluke, and then I don't know, take the day off, or then all of a sudden try and make it up tomorrow.
And let's talk about diet because diet leads you into weight, but it's more about management. It's not really about dieting, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
talk to us
It is.
about how
It
you
is about
manage your
like
weight.
control. Um, I usually try and, I mean, it depends on if I'm having like heavier days or lighter days, but I usually like to start off my weeks with a nice, good, healthy breakfast, a nice, good, big lunch, and have a nice lighter dinner, whether it be like a nice big smoothie or with some protein in it, or like a light vegetables and fruit mix with a little bit of protein, but a light dinner more so. And I drink lots of water and tea all
When
the
you
time.
when you say a lot of water, what kind are we talking about? A half a gallon, a gallon? How much water do you put through your body?
I drink at least 2 to 3 gallons of water a day.
Are you kidding me?
No, no.
Is that
And I drink
normal? Is that
about
normal?
probably half a gallon of tea a day.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, the benefits then, I would imagine you're probably drinking Blue O4 water, but the benefits, sponsor, the benefits to drinking that much water, that much tea would be,
I sweat more. I'm constantly like my body is very easily can sweat more. So when I do need to cut, it's not a my body doesn't freak out. It's not surprised. It can easily rehydrate and dehydrate itself,
is it
and
also
then
a
it just
process
cleanses.
of cleansing? Does it also keep your pores, uh, the body's like an engine, so it's like flushing the system, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Well, I tell you what, 3 to 4 gallons a day seems like a lot, but to a highly tuned athlete, perhaps that's more normal than not. Would you say it's more normal with your teammates?
Like we have a couple girls on the team who drink maybe 1 to 2 gallons, but I do work really hard on staying hydrated because I think it is very important, especially being out in Colorado at higher altitude, and my body just sweats more naturally. That I like to drink a lot of water. I like to stay hydrated like that just in case. I feel like it's better because I like to sweat a lot. I like to sauna. I like to do hot and cold contrast. So I just feel like that's it's just part of wrestling. You got to stay hydrated.
One of my producers, Brad Johnson, will just absolutely adore you. He thinks that you're the hardest working woman out there, but now that he will know that you're 3 to 4 gallons of water, I think you're going to get his attention. Brad may be a gallon to 2 gallons a day, but he will just absolutely think you are trying to outwork him now. We're talking with Erin Clodgo. She is currently ranked number 2 for Team USA at 63 kilos. She's training in Colorado Springs, part of the Sun Kiss Kids Club as well. What other club affiliations do you have?
Just Sun Kiss
Just
Kids, and representing good old USA.
good old USA. Are there
hmm
sponsors out there for you as well?
I mean, there's a couple companies I've always like wanted to get a part of. There's this company called Moving Comfort. It's a women's sport clothing brand, which I've really wanted to try and get their eye. There haven't been like I don't know if they sponsor many athletes or what, but they make a lot of women's spandex clothing and sports bras, which I'd really like to catch their eye and get their attention. So
Hmm.
I'm working on that.
You are working on that. And there, I would imagine you have some time during the day to work on things like that. The first training session for you truly begins at 9 o'clock Mountain Time, and you're not done until about 12:30. Is that about right?
Yep, yep.
And then when does the second session each day take place?
Depends on the day, but between around either 4 or 6.
And then it goes for how long? Is that a 2 or 3?
Oh, and about a 2.
About 2 hours. And then what do you do at night? Do you watch film of opponents? Do you watch movies? Do you watch television? Do you read? What do you do with your free time?
At nighttime, I usually just do whatever I can to, wind down, relax, because we usually get done and out of the gym around 8:30. That I don't want to watch film and get all wound up because I don't want to be going to bed till about 11
Yeah.
o'clock at night, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just either read or watch some light TV, and relax. And in the morning is when I'll either watch film or do stuff to get me going and get the brain active, So I'm not just a
What do
couch
you do
potato.
for fun?
For fun,
Yeah.
well, like on the weekends, it's usually sleep.
Well, I'm not going to discount the importance of sleep, but most
um,
people can survive on 7, 8 hours of sleep a night. What kind of sleep does Aaron Clodgo get?
I'd say about 6 to 7 hours.
Okay, and after that, just body wakes up. Do you have to
hmm
have an alarm clock to get up?
Yep, but I usually wake up like about an hour before that, and then for the next hour, I'm just kind of cat napping until it's time to get up.
Nice, cat napping.
Uh,
I'm just that guy that boom, I'm up, and then the alarm rings. It's like I don't know what that deal is about, but so what's it going to take to be number one? What do you feel you're going to need to do to not only go up there but take that spot, make it your own, and I mean everybody wants to be a part of a world team, but it's a whole lot more difficult than people even know.
Yeah. I believe it's going to take controlling the pace of the match, controlling the tie, pulling the trigger, being aggressive and not being convinced or to getting talked out of wrestling my style and getting talked into wrestling anybody else's style. Being stubborn.
Being stubborn. That's it. Being stubborn and um, non-apologetic. I mean, this is yours just as much as it is anybody else's. Who gives you that emotional support? I got to believe coaches there to an extent. Who else is giving you emotional support? Because we all need an atta girl, an atta boy. We need people need to be encouraged.
Yeah. Well, I definitely coaches, girls here that we're friends with that aren't necessarily, in the same weight class, but other weight classes who we do train with, and family too. Family's a big supporter for me.
Hmm. And you said none of your siblings wrestled.
Yep, none of them ever did.
Two brothers and a sister. Do I remember right?
Two sisters, one brother.
Two sisters, one brother. What's your brother's name?
Jean Paul.
Jean Paul. Was he
Yes.
French?
Yes. Well, he's not French, but that is a French name.
Yes. Yeah, I got that part. Nailed it.
You did.
That's Jean Paul. And your sisters' names are what?
Crystal and Megan. And actually, right now, it's kind of a crazy week. They are both pregnant, one with twins and one with just a singular. And they are both due about this week, beginning of next week.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So you're gonna? Will this be your first trip down the road where people will start calling you Aunt?
Yep.
Wow, that's cool. And you're how old?
I'm 23.
23 years old. Well, I will tell you what. It's a tremendous amount of responsibility. Are they all out in the Vermont area?
Megan is out in Vermont and Crystal lives out in Philly.
Well, that's not too far. That's
No.
not too far. And Jean Paul?
He actually lives out in Boulder, so he just lives a little bit of ways from me.
Oh, cool. Well, at least he's out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so I do go visit him often.
Do you enjoy the travel aspect of your career?
Yes and no. I enjoy getting to see all the different like all the different cities, countries. That's amazing. That's something I never would have ever thought I would get to do in my life. But traveling itself, no, I hate traveling. I hate getting on a plane and any all types of traveling. I'm not a fan of. But getting to the destination, that's where I'm not like, but when we're there, I love it.
The favorite travel destination out of all the places you've been in your career, where would that be?
Oh, I'd have to say there's a couple, but I'd have to say between like Spain and Germany.
Really?
Yeah,
And is it
I would love those
the
places.
countryside, the people, topography? What is it?
And Turkey. In Spain, I was in Madrid. In Germany, I've always been around pretty much in the back countryside, and it's just gorgeous. It really is, and the people are always very nice there.
Now you just at the end there you said Turkey.
Yes, in Turkey, and that was a few years ago at Worlds, and we were in Istanbul.
And what was Istanbul like?
Istanbul was really nice. It was something I don't know. I guess I kind of say like I don't want to say exotic, but different like that, like Spain, right? Say, and it was just really nice to see like a different side of culture.
Did I understand they enjoy their teas and coffees there?
Yes, yes. I thought they have apple tea, and I thought it was this special fancy tea, but really it's just kind of like hot apple juice.
A special fancy tea, and
I
it's
know.
just hot
I
apple
bought a
tea.
bunch of it. I bought a bunch of it, and then when I opened up the bag, I was like, "What is this? This is just like powdered sugar." It's like this isn't what.
Oh my goodness sakes! All right, so a couple days left before the World Team Trials, and what do these days look like? In wrap, we're going to wrap this up in about 2 minutes. But what does this look like for you as you prep? Lots of water, the appropriate amount of sleep, I would assume. But do the workouts trail off?
Yes. Yep. This week we have cut back our workouts to one a days. So, I mean, my practices will be a little bit longer in the morning. Like I'll go about from 9 to, well, not that much longer. About go from like 9 to 11, 11:30, and then I'll take an hour or so break for lunch, and then I'll come back to the gym and I'll do hot and cold contrast for about another hour, hour and a half, and then that'll be it for the day. Just maybe do some stretching and relax.
What do you get out of hot and cold contrast?
Hot and cold contrast speeds up your recovery, so I like to and makes me like detox you and makes your body practice sweating and get comfortable sweating. So I go in the sauna and I do between 15 to 25-minute goes in there, and then I'll do a cold plunge for about 10 minutes
Wow,
up to my chest, and
wow,
I'll do about 3 rounds of that.
that's amazing. That'll test the heart as well, won't
Yeah, yeah, it does, but I don't know. I like it. It feels really good.
Oh man, Gable loved it. I mean, I used to watch him do that. There were sheet wrap compressions, and where they wrap you up so tightly in a sheet and carry you in a sauna. There's some crazy ideas of what works, but obviously you're one of the highest tuned athletes in America, competing today, surely in wrestling, but. Wrestlers are some of the best trained athletes in the world when it comes time to manage their physique and their body. But well, we wish you the best. I understand you're kind of already a winner, having won the Takedown Wrestling and Takedown Shop singlet, the Super Singlet Sunday. How were
Yes,
you?
thank
How were
you.
you
That's awesome. I
notified?
can't wait to get it.
Was my phone call or was there an email, or how did you know that you won this Super Singlet Sunday giveaway?
I think it was your phone call. I found when because
That's
I don't
it.
go on Twitter much, but when I finally went on Twitter, I was like, oh, snap! Look at that. I was like, that's awesome.
So
So
you picked out a singlet. Can you tell us which one it is?
I picked out the Stars and Stripes
Uh,
singlet and the men's cut.
yeah.
They didn't have the higher cut ones available, but yeah, no, it's Stars and Stripes. So I think it'll be either red or blue, or red, white, and blue.
I think some
So
other gear comes with it, but have you not, after all this time, have you not enough red, white, and blue gear?
you know, you would. I don't know. You would think that it's yeah. I have plenty. I do have plenty of red, white, and blue gear, but I never get sick of representing our colors for our flag.
You're
That
a proud
never.
American, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can
So I
tell.
mean, other countries are great, and I've been to a lot of other countries, but there's nothing like home soil.
Home soil and the people of the United States of America. You're
Yes,
honored to be able to wrestle in front of them and for them, aren't you?
yes, I am
Hmm.
very much.
Well, we wish you the best this weekend. The competition is heady, but they all have to wrestle you, and that's the best part. It's your time, and we're gonna we're surely gonna be watching, and we can't wait for the results. So, best of luck. Work hard, and we'll look
Thank
forward
you,
to
Scott.
seeing you on the other side.
And when I get my singlet, I'll take a picture and post it on Twitter for everybody
That's what
and
I'm
for you.
talking about. All right,
Yeah.
we'll look for it. Erin Clodgo, good talking with you, kid. I hope the rest of your day goes as well as this interview has gone.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much. I'm Scott Casper. She's Erin Clodgo, 63 and waiting. She's looking for the opportunity to wrestle on the world team.